what I did was I went and looked up whenever I made a decision to do this. I went and dug deep for about 2 years into private libraries of MIT, Johns Hopkins, the Mayo Clinic, Harvard School of Medicine, and the Oxford Neurological Research Institute, looking for any type of clinical trial that they may have done using specific frequencies and what their verdict was and resources and observations. And I found a lot, but they didn't know what to do with it. And I just said, wait a second, if the signal goes better, more efficient to the brain using this frequency instead of this one, why don't we shift it, or why don't we just go into it and highlight those specific frequencies and reduce the volume of everything else around? And so that is what, in essence, what our patent does in our code for the software is that it will go in. First thing it does is analyze where these specific targeted frequencies are. And we target 7 specific frequencies within the mid range of the human auditory perception.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Age of Reinvention podcast, where we explore genuine stories of change and personal evolution. Today, we're driving into the journey of Alan Brunton, a man whose work spans varied terrains, from revamping fine dining experiences to pioneering sound healing technology. Alan's narrative is compelling showcase of adaptation and innovation. From the bustling energy of kitchens to the calm of sound labs, his career reminds us that our next chapter could be just around the corner. So settle in as we unpack how to navigate the winds of change, both personally and professionally. Let's get into the rich tapestry of experiences that Alan brings us today. Alan Brunton, a native Texan born in Dallas, wears many hats: entrepreneur, audio engineer, and now a trailblazer in the field of sound healing. Born into a family of inventors, Alan's upbringing encouraged him to think outside the box. His father's fascination with Nikola Tesla's technology left a lasting impression. Alan's diverse ventures included opening over 30 restaurants, nightclubs, and hotels. He even starred in his own TV cooking show, which ran successfully for 18 months. But Alan's true passion lies in technology that positively impacts people's lives. He founded Sumatrax, a groundbreaking software platform. Sumatrax leverages targeted frequencies in digital audio to promote optimal performance, health, and well being. By harmonizing sound and vibration, it aims to create a healthy body, mind, spirit, and environment. Hello, Alan. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, and hello, Emily. Boy, I tell you what, that was a great intro. I wish I could have written something like that.
Thank you for appreciation, but it was all about you, and you are the reason we have today this conversation.
Great. Like I said, it's very encouraging to me at my age, and I really wanted to jump onto this program with you because of the topic of reinventing yourself later on in life, because that's exactly what I did.
Let's start from the beginning. My first question: you've had quite a diverse career, from opera singing to hospitality to hosting a TV cooking show. And being after 50 years old, you started to work on the new technology, which today is Sumatra's company. What led you to transition from the industries you were so devoted and good with into the field of sound healing and the creation of Sumatra's company?
I worked for the Christian church, whether it was Catholic or other Protestants, by singing opera. And so I was led into a spiritual understanding, but I was more into a type of spirituality that did not connect with religion. And I saw quite a bit of people using little tools like Tibetan brass bowls or crystal bowls or tuning forks. And they were talking about how certain specific frequencies would actually travel more efficiently through the central nervous system. Back in 2009, I was going through a divorce and I moved from Texas out to Florida. And I was out there just to reinvent myself and figure out what it was I wanted to do. And I didn't find out. But I had a really good time walking the beaches for about 3 years. But during that time, also, I got to see a lot of research materials coming in from very famous research and development laboratories. And they were using and identifying specific frequencies that would travel much more efficiently through the central nervous system than others. The comparison, let's say, what brought my attention was an article that compared 440 hertz, which is what is concert A, that the International Standards Organization tells everyone globally to tune all of their music to, as compared to 432 hertz. And I started seeing something, uh, visual representations, and from a source called Cymatrax. And that is a comparison of how sound moves matter at specific frequencies. So as I said that, I just said, okay, if you add 2 plus 2 together, and if we're tuning to 440 hertz right now, if we tune to 432, does that mean that the sound will be more efficient to my brain and give a better signal? And all the research that I did said yes. And so I continued to say, all right. Then I moved back to Texas and took care of my folks here until they passed away. Moved back to Dallas. And from Dallas, then I came up, I was running one more restaurant, a steakhouse, and I had a international CEO coach talk to me and said, "Why are you here? You're too brilliant to be working at restaurants. Um, what else can you do? You should be talking to millions of people." And so I told her about my understanding of sound and frequency and how to be able to manipulate and filter digital audio for a healthier brain. And she goes, "Whoa, that's beyond me. But I know people in Austin, Texas that I can take you to in the tech industry." So we went down to Austin and I presented a PowerPoint presentation, which I didn't even know it was called a pitch deck back then, to be able to present it to somebody for a new idea. I met with a multimillionaire founder of a company called Mag Rabbit, Tommy Hoden, and his chief advisor in technology, a gentleman who used to be the chief software buyer at Dell, and he's now the lead architect at AWS. And when I presented to them, they just said, "This is amazing. Normally, what I would do is, this is something that will change the world. I would take you to the third floor at Dell, the legal department. We would write up a contract, produce your software, and we would be partners. However, there's nobody at Dell that can write acoustic-based software. That's 1 in 1,000 people has that skill set." He said so many other things, both positive and negative. But the most negative thoughts on it were, it's going to take a long time because if you choose to get into this and go further with this on your own, you don't have a team, you don't have a track record, you don't have all of these contacts that you need to do. And it's going to be a tough road for you. Oh, and by the way, had you come from technology, you would not have thought of this way of developing and producing digital audio health for people. I just decided, I said, all right, I have no children, I have no grandchildren. What am I going to, am I going to leave a legacy here? What am I going to do? And so I said, okay, I'm jumping ship. I'm going to do it. So at that time, I guess it was about 8 years ago, I decided to get on track. I found somebody that could produce my software. We started using it and finding out and testing on individuals how they felt about it. They concurred that they felt so much better and had so much more energy with the filtered version using the software that we had created. And then 3 years after we developed that, then we got it patented. And from the patent, then I brought on a chief technology officer who owns a cybersecurity company, and it's steamrolling. We got a clinical trial about what we just did, showing the positive nature of and recognition as a therapy for those people that have ADHD. And we're putting together more information so we can send this out to other funding companies so that we can use the same technology as a therapy for autism, PTSD, Alzheimer's, dementia, stroke. There's just so many applications to use specific frequencies as a wellness provider. And it's right at the right time, too, because everybody in the entire world is how can I make my brain healthier? Because there's so much stress that is causing people to be ill. The CDC reports that 85% of all disease is caused by stress. If you can use your brain in a way that just allows it to be functional without putting stress environment into it, you're going to be a healthier person. And then when you pass that on, other people see it, they become healthier also, or they want to. It's a chain reaction. But with our technology, it just is incredible that I'm able to bring this to the world.
Just to recuperate, and I understand there is a lot behind the word and hard work you did over the years and still working on. Can you explain how does the platform directly contribute to enhancing human potential and fostering a new freedom lifestyle for individuals, like close to the topic of our podcast?
Yeah. If you go all the way back to think about whenever the COVID lockdown hit the entire globe, people stopped meeting with each other face to face and they all went online. And from online, all meetings were then conducted with video conference calls. Back in, let's see, what was it, August 7th of 2020, is Forbes magazine came out with an article that said the cause of Zoom fatigue is poor audio. And I just went, thank you, Lord. Yes, this is exactly what's going on. So we found out then that so many people were pushing themselves into a stressful environment to be able to try to catch up with the work that they were losing due to non face to face meetings. And my company, Cymatrax, and its technology is there now then to be able to be used in any type of environment. We could be used even on this call, which I think that we can do that after you finish this call before it is posted. We can take the audio out of it, run it through the software, and then put it back. And so anybody who watches it will have much more availability to retain the information, and white noise, which is inherent in all digital audio, will be the volume of the white noise in that will be filtered down so that it will have less contact with the brain, less powerful signals, so that the brain can function and work optimally.
And there is another aspect which you already touched. As far as I know, your patented technology focuses on filtering sound frequencies to improve cognitive function. And can you explain in layman terms how this process works and the science behind it?
Yeah, the science behind it, as I said, we've got two trials from the Department of Communication Science and Disorders at James Madison University. Dr. Lincoln Gray, who is a professor there that has a laboratory that is so profound. It was in his laboratories that they discovered the autism gene in their lab rats. And so that really helped out quite a bit to put them on the map. But whenever I would discuss with him by way of someone else, oh, I got to back up one more thing. Whenever the guy there at Dell said, you don't know anybody, it was COVID that blessed me because we had to stop and I was forced to go online and do these types of meetings, one-on-one, or better yet, I joined 3 international network groups. And from there, I met people from all over the world, people that were have all of these different accents and understandings, yet everybody still has the same point of reference that they want to see the world get better. And whenever you see people like that, you hang on to them. Just like whenever I met you in one of those network groups. It was, and you and I have known each other now then for a while, but I am so happy that you're doing these shows because people, if they don't keep active, they don't keep busy, then they slowly just die away. I get up at 4 o'clock every single morning and get on my computer and start working. And then about 8:15, I go to the gym and I work out. I'll ride my bicycle 20, 30 miles. But I have my full day, which I won't turn off my computer until 5 o'clock at night. So I'm usually working, let's say, from 5 to 5, a 12-hour day. And it's not just 5 days a week. I also do all my research on Saturdays and Sundays as well. But the technology, we're seeing so many other, and I'm getting validated, and how it's being brought to the world, the science behind what we're doing. We're seeing so many new, we have to back up and understand the verbiage that's being used. Everybody understands what genetics is and seeing how then within the chromosomes, your DNA, how or why your eyes are blue or your hair is blonde and etc. But we have a new observation of genetics called epigenetics. And from epigenetics, I heard one scientist say there are 4 environmental influences to every single cell in the body: chemicals, heat, light, and sound. And it was Nikola Tesla himself that said, if you want to discover the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Now then, from cymatics, anybody can go to YouTube and look, just pull up cymatics, and you will have hundreds of people's videos showing how that a specific frequency will move matter. White noise in and itself is actually just combination of millions of frequencies. And the brain, as I've described this to several neurologists, and they all concur with me that what I'm saying is logical, the brain is much more capable and competent than what we give it. It does not recognize the words white noise. It actually recognizes each and every individual frequency that is put together. So as we're looking at concert A at 440 hertz, white noise is also then 439 hertz, 438 hertz, 437. It's just all of these. When you put them all together, it sounds like rushing water. And so the brain then looks at every one of those replay frequencies that come to us through the code, through all the ones and zeros in the playback. And it spends a lot of the resources of the processing of that data to say, what is it that's coming into me? Like any computer, when you're running 3 or 4 major programs at once, everything is fine until you upload huge amounts of data. And that's what white noise is. As you are then understanding and you're listening to music, if you have more white noise coming in, you lose your focused thought. You cannot think. When you're driving down the road in your car and you're looking for an address, the first thing you do is turn down the volume on the radio. Or let's look at it this way. When you were a small child sitting in the back seat with your brother or sister and your dad and mom in their front seat and you guys are cutting up, dad turns around and says, "Hey, be quiet. I can't think." It's because of the sound. And even as we find ways to be able to get ourselves out of the big city, out into the country to listen to the wind, the water, just nothing. No airplanes, no other car traffic noise. The whole body becomes whole again. And that's what we need to be able to learn to do, is to use that resource, to use what nature has given us to be able to create a healthier body, a healthier environment. So what I did was I went and looked up, whenever I made a decision to do this, I went and dug deep for about 2 years into private libraries of MIT, Johns Hopkins, the Mayo Clinic, Harvard School of Medicine, and the Oxford Neurological Research Institute, looking for any type of clinical trial that they may have done using specific frequencies and what their verdict was and resources and observations. And I found a lot, but they didn't know what to do with it. And I just said, wait a second, if the signal goes better, more efficient to the brain using this frequency instead of this one, why don't we shift it, or why don't we just go into it and highlight those specific frequencies and reduce the volume of everything else around? And so that is what, in essence, what our patent does in our code for the software, is that it will go in. First thing it does is analyze where these specific targeted frequencies are. And we target 7 specific frequencies within the mid-range of the human auditory perception. Now, once it finds those and locks onto them, then we've created a cone-shaped filter that will take away up to 5% of the volume of everything in between those targeted frequencies. And so we have one Grammy Hall of Famer who was completely blown away. I don't know if any of the viewers, we have Age of Reinvention. People here will actually, if they're older, like my generation, they will know the group called Kool and the Gang. Very famous R&B group that came up with the song Celebration. But one of their founding members lives here in Dallas, and somebody told him about my software. He said, man, I got to see this for myself. He emailed me his latest digital master, and I ran it through the software, and I put both versions onto my phone. He put on my Sennheisers, and he listened to both for 8 minutes. The original was 4 minutes long. So he listened to one, then he listened to the other, and he took off the headphones and he said, Alan, I got to tell you the way it is. The first one was sweet. It was pinpoint clear. I could hear each and every note exactly. I had so much energy, I felt like I could dance all night long. I know my own music. I worked on it in the studio for 4 months. That second one, brother, I'm sorry if that was your technology, but the second one was murky. It just made me want to roll up into a ball and go to sleep. And I said, the second one was your original. And he said, man, this needs to be in every recording studio in the world. But that's not where the Cymatrax is actually going to stop. We've actually targeted to use this within education. Going back to that Forbes article where they said Zoom fatigue, all this stress is being caused by poor audio. Think about education. Online education is a $315 billion a year industry right now. And so if everybody on there takes online courses and they find out and they'll go, oh, I am just so tired after reviewing that chapter, listening to all these videos. But now then, with our technology, one of our largest clients that we have is a continuing education university, and they have taken over 3,000 of their digital audio files from their training videos and run it through our software and then put it back. They're showing a higher pass rate this year, showing the exact same videos, but now then with filtered audio, than they did showing the same videos last year. So people now then are actually retaining the information longer. They're able to go in and get the testing done, and they're not losing their focus. Everybody has watched a TED Talk. If you know it or not, TED Talks are only 15 to 18 minutes long. That's it. Why? Because people lose their focused attention after that amount of time. Why? Because it's all being produced with digital audio. And the microphone through the amplifiers, through the speaker systems, and white noises in that. That's the reason why that each one of the presentations is only that short, so people will not lose their focused attention and they'll get the full benefit of all of those wonderful topics that TED Talks bring about to the general population.
For our listeners who are passionate about discovering a new purpose in midlife, how does your Cymatrax technology aligns with the pursuit of well-being, particularly as one navigates the challenges of aging?
Yes. You have to understand there's so many new trials and reports now that are coming out about manipulating music. Let's just say for Alzheimer's patients right now. They're doing a lot of trials and finding out what kind of music will actually bring about a more clarity for the Alzheimer's patients to be able to start dancing or start singing along or recognizing people. It's with that in mind that our frequency specific technology is being more and more accepted, and people can use that just by going to cymatrax.com, and that's Cymatrax. There people can sign up, create an account, they can use it for free, they can use it, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we're running a special. People can use it for 50 times a month for only $3, which is a great way of the savings because we used to charge $1 per minute. Like most podcasters, their podcast will go on for, oh, let's say an hour. And so that would cost somebody, it would have cost them $60 to filter it through our system. But now then people can go on there and they can filter their podcast at no charge. 5 times a month is no charge. But for $2.99, you can use it. Like I said, it could be 20, 50, could even be 100 times. I don't know. But also then the platinum level is also just $2.99. And what we're doing is building up. We've got hundreds of people right now that are already signed up and using our technology for all of their listening environments, all their playlists that they put up and submit to a station. There are some people that have put on their, they're calling it Cymatrax enhanced versions of playlists. So it's getting out there and people can use it as much as they want.
I'm a user of your technology as well. I just started recently. Cannot detect yet any significant changes in results, but I do it mostly for the listener because I believe it will improve their experience and actually perception of the information provided. Because for podcasting, there is some specifics that audio is super important. Audio is actually the one channel to get feelings and information and even emotion coming from the interview, and to share it, it should be really through the fine tuning, I believe.
I wanted to talk about that one word that you just brought up, emotions. See, Cymatrack technology there's so many people that talk about sound healing, and we don't say that we heal anything. We're just filtering what you're taking in. It's like the difference between drinking a $3 bottle of Andre champagne to Dom Perignon. One's going to give you a headache, and the other you're going to enjoy like you were born to be able to enjoy it forever and ever. But whenever you use this dirty stuff, this polluted digital audio, you're just going to be a lot more shaky. Your central nervous system is going to be shaking. And when people find out I'm having a better life because all the audio I listen to being filtered and I'm aware of where I'm going. You don't go to a restaurant and allow a hostess to seat you next to a compressor of a refrigerator because you would have to be yelling across the table with that extra noise going on. You want to be able to have the most quiet, the most noise inviting area that you can. And when you filter out white noise, the volume of that, everything then is going to be in a way that you can speak openly without agitation.
Thank you for all these insights, Alan. And lastly, for someone who is at a crossroad in life, possibly looking to reinvent themselves and seek out a new path, what advice would you give about embracing technologies, innovation, and actually the way to rediscover the purpose? I know that invention and in reinvention actually in your blood and genes, but for other people it might be quite scary in the war. So what would you advise?
I know so many people, even in my own family, aunts and uncles that have passed, after they retired, they always volunteered. And whether it was with a church or a community organization, they always found ways of keeping themselves activated with different groups. And I would say that would be one of the best things that anybody can first do is to volunteer. Now, from volunteering, you may come up and say, but have you ever tried doing it this way? And people would say, no, why don't you head that up? Next thing you know, boom, you're a manager. And you've got so many people coming to you and saying, I need your help. I need your help. Instead of just sitting at home and watching reruns of I Love Lucy. You've got to be able to motivate yourself to be able to create new things. I was just looking at a magazine that came in, an energy magazine. And in there they had recipes and said, do you have a favorite salad? You can win $500 if you just submit it. I'm going, boom, there you go. I've got a salad that would I think would be great. And so just always volunteer. Look what I mean, this energy magazine that came in was only because I started Cymatrax. And so once you get into a new way of looking at life, and that everybody deserves to have a great life with less stress and being joyful and being, the world changes. And all the people that you express that to will become attracted to you and will try to create the same thing. So that is the number one thing. Volunteer, and who knows, it might turn into a full-time position, or you may want to start your own company like I did.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, for your insights again. And I wish you very success. And I will follow the success of your technology because I believe there's a lot of potential and actual help for many people around. Thank you very much.
My great pleasure, yeah. Thanks, Emily. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Alan Brunton's journey exemplifies the fusion of creativity, entrepreneurship, and cutting edge technology. As a founder of Cymatrax, he continues to explore innovative ways to enhance human potential through sound. Before we part ways, remember that each one of us can reframe our narrative, adapt, and reinvent the path ahead. Alan's story illustrates how embracing the unknown can lead to fulfilling and unexpected destinations. As we part away, consider the potential for growth and transformation in your own life. What shifts are waiting on your horizon? What new chapters are you contemplating? Whether you are pondering a small tweak or a major turn, remember, power to shape your journey lies within you. If Alan's story has resonated with you, or if you are on your own transformative journey and could use some insights or support, we are here to connect. Don't hesitate to reach out, share your thoughts, or simply connect to exchange stories. We are eagerly awaiting your input. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep moving forward. Stay open to new possibilities and let your journey continue to unfold. Catch up soon and take care until now, then. Bye.